Good evening and welcome to the Evening News for Friday, December 19, 2014. I'm Petra Lisantis. Thank you for joining us. Making your headlines this evening, fire destroys 2 Middle Road La Penitence homes. Housing Minister says Guyana has much more development to achieve in 2015. GDF warns against drug trafficking after soldiers slapped with charges. Inquiry into allegations against Magistrate Moore yet to commence. New Indian monument to be erected and Salvation Army's headquarters rehabilitated. And now for the news in detail. In just a matter of days, Christmas will be celebrated, but it will definitely not be a festive one for 2 families whose houses were destroyed by a fire of unknown origin. Bisham Mohammed was at Middle Road La Penitence and filed this report.
The fire, which started about 1400 hours, completely gutted a 2-bedroom home, leaving at least 5 persons homeless, while causing major damage to a nearby house at Lot 183 Middle Road La Penitence, Georgetown. According to reports received, the fire started in one of the apartments of the flat wooden and concrete structure. No one was at home at the time when the fire started. From reports gathered, fire officials have confirmed that the fire might have started from a kerosene stove that was left lit. Nevertheless, the owner of the house nor the occupants were at the scene when the evening news arrived. Paul Wilberg, the owner of the damaged nearby house, explained when he became aware of the fire.
To be honest, I don't really conclude it. I come and every day the fire was born, you know what I mean? I got a message and this is why I come and reach here right now. You know what I mean? So right now, maybe when I cool down and, you know what I mean, I will be able to say what probably damaged whatever.
But when you arrive at the scene, the house over there
was already down completely down to the ground.
What about the fire service response?
Well, them come a little bit, not too long, but a short period. When I come in, like 5 or 10 minutes behind me.
But they couldn't do anything because
no, they were already down. They couldn't do nothing. If the place was already down already, they couldn't do nothing. You know what I mean? If they were willing, the place was already done, gone right down. And then it's woodhouse too, you know, so the firework a great lot. You know.
He also stated that he has lost a lot, but is thankful that no one was injured as a result of the fire.
A lot of people trying to save a lot of things here. Because I can see a lot of break-in, because you know, by when a lot of break up the window to get in the place and all these things, just to save a lot of things, you know. So this is nature right now, you know what I mean, and this is what I have to go through, you know what I mean. I buy my violin and all this kind of thing for do it, you can see on the ground, you know what I mean, all these things, my ways are starting broke up. And I guess it's one more other things, but I can't say right now exactly because I don't know. Because a lot of strangers at the place just assist, I wasn't at home. So I can't count what from what, but I know a lot of things break up. And I can see a lot of windows too and all sort of things around there too. So it's a tragedy right now, but we can get over it.
Residents at the scene told Evening News that the completely gutted house was occupied by the owner, her daughter and grandchildren. Fire officials were busy tumbling the debris as they continued their investigations. The police were also summoned and have launched an investigation. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Guyana Defence Force Chief of Staff Brigadier Mark Phillips today reiterated the military body's zero-tolerance policy on drug use and trafficking. His message came in wake of the police's arrest of a soldier found with some 400 grams of marijuana yesterday. Here is more from Alexis Rodney.
Reports state that police on Thursday arrested a GDF private at the Ogle International Airport as he was about to board a flight to one of the force's interior bases. According to reports, the plant was found in his military kit. Police were tipped that soldiers are usually engaged in trafficking marijuana to interior locations. The unidentified soldier has reportedly been dismissed without honor from the Guyana Defence Force. Chief of Staff Brigadier Phillips in his message reminded troops of the force's policy regarding such matters, warning that immediate action will be instituted against any officer who is found to be in contravention of the Army's SOPs. He said consumption of narcotic substances and trafficking are against the law. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
Almost 2 weeks after the suspension of Magistrate Alex Moore following allegations of misconduct brought against him, an inquiry into the matters yet to commence. Moore was suspended by the Judicial Service Commission just 2 Fridays ago after it was reported that he allegedly made some inappropriate statements to an East Coast Demerara businesswoman in court. A date has to be set for the chairman of the JSC and Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary Justice Carl Singh, after which the magistrate will be called before the 5-member commission. During the inquiry proceedings, Magistrate Moore will be given an opportunity to defend himself. In the interim, Moore continues to be on suspension while another magistrate has been temporarily placed at the Sparendam Magistrates Court. Within a fleeting period of 6 months, Insel Air has exemplified huge confidence in Ghana's developing aviation sector as they launched again another flight to Guyana, this time from Curaçao. The details in this report.
The inaugural Insel Air flight from Curaçao arrived in Guyana just after midnight on Thursday evening at the Cheddi Jagan International Airport with over 70 passengers and departed this morning with close to 50. On the flight was the Minister of Tourism and Transport in St. Martin, Ted Richardson, who noted that this new flight definitely contributes to the economy of his nation. The airline's first route was from Aruba to Guyana, and now with the addition of this new route, Insel Air has 4 weekly flights into Guyana. Chief Executive Officer of the Cheddi Jagan International Airport, Ramesh Gier, was ecstatic to introduce yet another air service carrier to Guyana. He also acknowledged the government's confidence in the rapid development of the sector.
You would have seen over the years the investment in the control tower, the modernization of that facility there, the expansion of the Cheddi Jagan International Airport, which is ongoing, the supporting infrastructure for the transport sector, the 4-lane highway road, development of other supporting airports, the LATAM.
Roraima Airways has been authorized as ground handling services and general sales agent for the airline. Roraima Airways Captain Gerald Gavaya was also pleased with the investment in Guyana's economy.
Guyana is a country on the move, and nothing is going to stop it. Guyana is on the move. We are creating economic development, we are creating employment, and with partners like Insel Air, with leaders like Albert, I am very optimistic about the future.
Additionally, Minister of Public Works and Transport Robson Ben was impressed in such a rapid evolvement within a short period.
I am excited. I am happy that Insel Air is moving up its operations. I am excited that again we are having another vote of confidence in our country's air transport operations.
Minister Ben and the President of Insel Air, Albert Cleaver, hinted plans for a fruitful new year.
We want to pursue more opportunities with Guyana, not only in indirect flights, but also looking to possibilities to have more direct flights out of Guyana into South America and into the Caribbean.
Davina Samaru for the Evening News.
A Partnership for National Unity is now seeking clarity on the pro-democracy proposal put forward by the Alliance for Change. The details in this report.
APNU's leader David Granger said that at this point there is need for some clarity on the recent alliance proposal from the AFC. According to him, the coalition remains willing to enter into talks. He, however, noted that clarification must be given so that he can properly inform the other partners of APNU.
We've asked AFC to give us their proposals for the talks. So I would like to know what the AFC is actually calling for that is not yet or has not been provided for by APNU over the last 3.5 years or 3 years or more. So I don't know what they're speaking about, and the General Secretary of APNU has asked the General Secretary of AFC to explain what there is to speak about.
Further, the opposition leader acknowledged receipt of the invitation for talks sent by the Alliance for Change. He, however, did not disclose whether a response was sent to the party.
I have an obligation as leader of APNU to discuss with my partners, the WPA, National Front Alliance, Guyana Action Party, any major proposal that will affect the character and integrity of APNU. I can't go into talks if there's nothing on the table for me to give to my colleagues to examine. So we are waiting now, and Mr. Ahmed could add to that, but we're waiting now on hearing from the AFC about their proposal, but we certainly have a clear proposal here, Unity Charter.
On Thursday, AFC's General Secretary David Patterson said that among the invitees are members of civil society and trade unions. Patterson related to that 6 weeks have been set aside for talks on the Pro-Democracy Alliance. Therefore, a decision should be announced as to whether there will be such an alliance, and of equal importance, the members of that coalition.
They have had little hope. We had little to look to the PPP for in terms of educational opportunities and jobs. And the second most is the question of human safety. People feel very unsafe in this country. Children on streets being hit down by motor cars, domestic violence, banditry in the hinterland, sometimes even going to a wedding reception or a wake could end in death. But people feel very unsafe, and some people I've met in the diaspora are afraid to come back home because they feel they're going to be attacked or killed. We have an armed robbery every 8 hours in this country, you know.
For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
New York Daily News has reported the stabbing death of a man whose naked body was found outside a Brooklyn apartment building, which was the result of a sordid love triangle that ended in 2 killings, not 1, and the arrest of a suspect on Thursday. Jerome Barrett, 35, of East New York, is believed to have been having sex with his co-worker in a parked car when the woman's husband interrupted them early on Wednesday, police sources said. The husband, Steve Whittingham, 48, stabbed Barrett several times in the chest and did the same to his wife, Janelle Barker, 36, killing them both, police said, as they announced Whittingham's arrest on Thursday night. Barrett, who also was married, was mortally wounded but managed to flee, clutching his clothing and wallet, the sources said. He later succumbed. Stay with us, more of the evening news after these messages. Welcome back. Although challenged by the lack of adequate funding this year, the Human Services and Social Security Ministry has been able to offer an effective service to the vulnerable in society. Here is more from Alexis Rodney.
The move by the parliamentary opposition to cut portions of this year's budget has had its impact on the delivery of social services in Guyana. However, according to Human Services and Social Security Minister Jennifer Webster, the ministry has been able to pull through and provide the best it could for those most at risk. In a recent interview, the minister praised the work of her ministry over the last 12 months.
We've had our challenges, I must state, in terms of poverty alleviation programs that we would have undertaken in 2014 because of budget cuts. Some of our programs are funded through the poverty program, which was cut in the 2014 budget debate by the opposition. And so this year we were unable to extensively meet all the requests and demands that were made of the ministry in some specific areas.
Zeroing in on some matters, Webster said that her ministry has received some 2,181 reports of child abuse thus far. Out of that amount, the ministry is working through the Child Care Protection Agency to prevent the separation of some 1,448 children and has also been working with 3,153 vulnerable families.
We have partnered with various NGOs, but one in particular, ChildLink, that has been working closely with the Child Care and Protection Agency on working with parenting and building strong families. And ChildLink has been working with families, visiting the children at home and working with them to try to help them to resolve some of the issues. And they have been monitoring in a very structured way. Every week they visit a number of homes and they interact with the children and their parents. So it's one of the ways that we are working to promote better family life.
The minister spoke of the ministry's work towards totally revamping the institutionalization of children who are homeless. According to her, the ministry has been able to provide for its more than 206 children in foster care. Asked about her ministry's plans for 2015, Webster was swift to inform of the National Action Plan for the Sexual Offences Act. The 5-year plan includes a number of things ranging from training and awareness, working with the magistracy and the judiciary, and social service officers in the investigating process, among others. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
The Ghana Relief Council, the GRC's shelter, was officially renamed the Yvonne Hines Home of Hope at a simple ceremony at its Rumvelt, Georgetown location. The GRC announced that it will be closed for the holidays from December 19 to January 7. However, in the event of an emergency, persons can contact Andre Wilson on telephone number 223-1568. The GRC held its final fundraiser for 2014, a silent auction on December 3 to 5, which saw donations from various supporters who made the event a grand success. The council noted that the funds will go towards alleviating the trauma persons suffered during disaster or are in difficult circumstances. The GRC executive and members of staff extend heartfelt gratitude to their supporters who continue to assist the council in fulfilling its mandate throughout the year. Artists are coming forward more and more to complain about the lack of market for their pieces in Guyana. The details in this report.
A pyrographic artist, Irene Bacchus Holder, lamented the lack of markets for all forms of art in Guyana. She said that art is a treasure. It should be appreciated for its contribution to culture and development.
The local community of artists, art supporters, is modest, even when the small population of our country is taken into consideration. Our art market is so tiny that it is impossible for artists to work, to make anything even remotely resembling a reasonable living out of their work.
However, in acknowledging the limits most Guyanese have in being patrons of the arts, the artists called on the private sector to support local artists.
I believe that both the public and private sectors can do much more to support artists and their work. I continue to hope that the owners of the massive structures that are rising in our city will adorn the walls of these places with some of our work, especially the new hotels that are going up. I get the impression that they can afford to pay.
Meanwhile, President Donald Ramotar added his voice as well to the call for the private sector's support of local artists. He remarked that interest in the art needs to be first revived to develop the support that reaches both private and public sectors.
I would like to see a genuine art patronage in Guyana, where companies and corporations support artists through enlightened partnerships and bring income to artists and add value to their own corporations. I think that such partnerships would signal a true evolution of the Guyana society.
The president elaborated on steps taken to elevate the social and cultural status of the artist, indicating that more is forthcoming to ensure local artists can indeed survive in their chosen profession.
Culture, Youth and Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony disclosed that there will soon be a new monument to mark the first set of Indian indentured immigrants in Guyana. Here is more in this report.
The new monument will be located in Palmyra, Berbice, even though the group of immigrants arrived in British Guiana at Plantation Highbury.
They came off the ship at Plantation Highbury, but we want to put it at Palmyra because it's a more prominent site and where people would be able to see the monument. If we take it into Plantation Highbury, very few people actually would be able to see it because the plantation itself, there are very few inhabitants there now, and you don't have a large population center there.
The ministry is working with the government of India to ensure this project is successful.
We design it, and it's going to be manufactured in India. And the government of India, they are donating the cost of the monument, the cost of doing the sculptures. They're paying for it as a gift to the people of Guyana.
The monument was designed by two individuals, Winslow Craig and Philbert Gajadere, who won a recent art competition that was launched by the ministry for that purpose.
It's a sculpture with 6 figures, depicting people coming off the ship. And so they're going to be done in bronze, and the tallest sculpture would be about 12 feet high, and they would be suitably placed on a pedestal.
Moreover, the minister urged Guyanese to disregard their attitude of dumping garbage around and vandalizing these historic structures.
People must have national pride, and if they see someone vandalizing the site, they must report it or try to stop them or, talk up about it, because I think it's important.
Reporting for the Evening News, Davina Samaru.
A 33-year-old man of Lot 15 East La Penitence, Georgetown, was refused bail for discharging a loaded firearm, robbery under arms, and intent to commit murder when he appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. Sherwin Burrow pled not guilty to all of the charges when they were read to him by Magistrate Anne McLennan. Police prosecutor Dinero Jones objected to the defendant being granted his pre-trial liberty. He cited the nature, gravity, and penalty attached to the offences. The prosecutor's objections were withheld, and the case was transferred before Magistrate Judy Latchman on January 5. The Salvation Army's Social Center, located in Kingston, Georgetown, underwent a multi-million-dollar renovation over the past few months. Here's more in this report.
As the Salvation Army continues its fight to help substance abuse victims, its social center recently underwent rehabilitative and expansion work to accommodate more clients. The newly fixed building, located on Water Street, Kingston, was commissioned on Friday morning by Finance Minister Ashni Singh and Chairman of the Advisory Board, Edward Boyer. Boyer said that the new facility will aid the organization to better carry out its functions.
We could give this project to nobody to complete for what the estimate was. And that actually was a bit of a stress on us, because every time you look at the estimate, the cost of the work went up. And it became kind of a nightmare, because you can't find the funding and the project cost is going up. Eventually, we decided on restructuring the project, bringing it in. And today, I am going to tell you, you're going to be very impressed that we have managed to complete the work with the contracted sum. I think it's 16.5 plus our input. And our input basically is not measured because of the fact that some is a little bit of self-help and a little bit of added help from other people and so on. And of course the Salvation Army.
Government has plugged some $16.5 million towards the rehabilitation project. According to Finance Minister Ashni Singh, this represents the government's commitment to working along with the Salvation Army.
This government is proud to have partnered with the Salvation Army in helping to transform the lives of the thousands of clients who pass through this program. We consider ourselves privileged to have been able to support by the provision of a grant of $16.5 million to reconstruct this social center, which will serve as a residential facility and a halfway house.
The rehabilitation project saw several sections of the facility expanded. These include the kitchen, hostel, and bathroom, among others. Davina Samaru for the Evening News.
Stay with us. More news after these messages. If you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. In this report, we hear that the Alliance for Change has called for a full disclosure of the results of the 2012 population census, but says they don't want the information to prepare for elections. Here are the details.
Alliance for Change MP Trev Williams on Thursday said that it is alarming that the government continues to make critical decisions without pertinent data from the last population census. According to Williams, information such as unemployment data is contained in the report and would be vital to several government decisions. He noted that the initial report has since been released and it is now time for the complete document to be published.
We note that we are days away from the end of 2014, and as yet the final report on the 2012 census has not been made public. As we move into 2015, it will be without the critical data to guide our development. The AFC is tired of the excuses, as we are sure all Guyanese are. How can the government continue to plan and put forward national budgets without the census data? Or are they willfully withholding the 2012 census report? What is in it that they don't want the public to know?
One question whether the report would contain information vital to election campaign preparations, the party responded in the affirmative. However, General Secretary David Patson said that campaigning was not the party's immediate concern. He said the report would shine some much needed light on Guyana's current state of affairs.
The reason we don't have the census because it's a damn reflection of this stewardship, right? There's no way you can tell me how you could have a year ago given us a summary of how many people in the country, and then you can't tell us, you can't give us a breakdown of where they are, what they're doing, if they're unemployed or anything like that. And that is why we haven't got it, because it's a damn reflection of some of the failed policies that they're implementing.
For the Evening News, Jomo Paul.
Stay with us. Your regional and international news are next. Welcome back, and now for the look at some news in the region. Regionally, Trinidad's Finance and Economy Minister Larry Howey has denied any improper involvement in the purchase of shares in a Trinidad Cement Limited 10 years ago, and that he has instructed his lawyers to examine all aspects of this matter to address clearly what appears to be an injustice to my character and professional persona. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has also said she is satisfied with the response given to her by her embattled finance minister after the Trinidad media began reporting on the issue this week. And internationally, President Barack Obama has vowed a U.S. response after North Korea's alleged cyber attack on Sony Pictures. The U.S. leader also said that the studio made a mistake in refusing to release a controversial satire depicting the assassination of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. On Friday, U.S. authorities linked North Korea to the hack, which saw sensitive studio information publicly released. Sony withdrew the film The Interview following continued threats. The U.S. leader said it was important to protect both public and private cyber systems from attacks which could have significant economic and social impacts. Mr. Obama also noted that he believes Sony Pictures was mistaken in failing to go ahead with the release. Here now are your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed at 14 hours 30 on Saturday, December 20 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 15 hours 5 on Saturday, December 20 for a period of 1.5 hours. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success, is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are victorious!
Welcome back, and now for a look at your sport headlines. South Africa closes in on victory against West Indies in the first test. Stella Maris girls crowned PB Under-11 champions. Finalists in West Demerara Football Association Knockout Cup to be decided tomorrow, and Steve Smith century leaves Australia-India test in balance. This segment of sport is sponsored by Macorp.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are victorious!
South Africa bowled out the West Indies for 201 in their first inning of the third day of the first test at Centurion. The West Indies closed on 76 for 2, batting a second time, 275 runs adrift of South Africa's first innings total of 552. South Africa enforced the follow-on, but were flatter in the final session despite picking up a further 2 wickets, with Moran Morkel dispatching Craig Braffett for 20, after Vernon Philander had accounted for Devon Smith for 5. Leon Johnson was unbeaten on 33 and Marlon Samuels was batting on 13. The first inning open stands at 72 proved to be the West Indies' high point of the day. Smith on 35, his opening partner Braffett on 34, Leon Johnson 31, Marlon Samuels 33 and Shivnarine Chandrapal 21 got starts, but the visitors lost 6 wickets for 39 runs before being bowled just before the close for the second session to hand the hosts the first innings lead of 351 runs. Philander took 4 first innings wickets and closed the day with an overall figure of 5 for 29. Stella Maris Primary School are the new champions of the Anson McCall Ministry of Health and Health 2000 PB Under-11 Girls Tournament when the final was held on Thursday evening at the Ministry of Education ground. Here is more from Tristan Joseph.
Stella Maris won the tournament 3-1 on penalty kicks after a 0-0 draw at the end of regulation time. With a rough first half, both sides ended 0-0. St. Stephen's came out attacking in the second half and blew their biggest opportunity to win the game when Naomi Campbell missed a penalty that hit the far post in the last 5 minutes of the match. Stella Maris's Ludicia Reynolds would make the game-saving penalty to ensure the victory. Reynolds was also named as the most valuable player of the tournament. In the third game playoff, Enterprise Primary School won 2-1 against West Rumville Primary School on penalty kicks after a 1-1 draw. The Petra organization thanked all of their sponsors for their continued support, while all of the sponsors in the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Anson McCall, and Health 2000 pledged their support for future tournaments, branding the initiative as well as the girls' play on the field as inspiring.
Alistair Cook has been removed as England's one-day captain less than 2 months before the World Cup and replaced by fellow batsman Ian Morgan. Cook, 29, who was appointed to lead the one-day side in 2011, averages only 27.52 in his last 20 one-dayers. During the recent 5-2 series defeat in Sri Lanka, Cook insisted he would not resign, but the selectors' meeting on Friday took that decision for him. Morgan began his career with Ireland and has played 107 ODIs for England. And hosts Den Amstel, fresh off the awe-inspiring display against Wales, will look to duplicate that performance when they face Ifluct Warriors in the feature game of the semi-final action at the Vitamalt Aquamist-sponsored West Demerara Football Association Knockout Cup tomorrow at the Den Amstel Community Centre ground. In the opening fixture, the mighty Slingers FC tackles Port-Royal, and this encounter could also provide fireworks, even though the former should start in overwhelming favourites to advance to the championship game. The feature clash could pose a difficult challenge for the homesters, since Ifluct is a difficult proposition for Wales, and with a chance to play in the final a possibility, the team should be ignited by the prospect. Up for grabs for the winner in this competition is $1 million and the championship trophy, while the second place finisher takes home $500,000, third place $300,000, and fourth place $200,000. And that has brought us to the end of the evening news for today, Friday, December 19, 2014. Do remember to get a copy of tomorrow's edition of the Ghana Times newspaper for the details of these stories and other news. I'm Petty DeSantis. Thank you for joining us.